On everybody, welcome back. In this video we are looking at the NFL picks for tomorrow. Do my core plays for week number 10. We'll also touch on prize picks that I like. So let's get into the video. As always, if you enjoy the content, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. If you want to check out the Twitter, the website, my prize picks promo code, that's all in the description. It is processed. You'll get your deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. So a couple of props that I'm looking at. We'll start with Deonte Johnson, over 15 fantasy points. He is going up against a soft matchup against Detroit. The only small concern is the weather is not going to be the most conducive. It's looking a little bit rainy, maybe a little bit of snow there. But overall, Deonte Johnson playing without Claypool and playing without, obviously, Juju, who's done for the year. I think that is just too good of a spy. He's probably going to get 10-plus targets from Ben, like he usually does. Mike Evans, I'll take the over on his fantasy points. He is at 14.5 only. There's no Antonio Brown. He gets a dream matchup against this Washington secondary. They are dead last in the NFL in pass defense. So I think Evans, we all know that he gives you upside for multiple touchdowns, 2 or 3 touchdowns. Would not be surprised at all. No Gronk as well. Cordero Patterson, he's at 15. I'll take the over there. Good matchup against the Cowboys. I love playing running backs like Patterson who give you upside in the not only on the ground, but also through the air. He had 6 of 6 grabs last week. He had the game-winning catch inside 2 minutes, throwing like a 50 or 60-yarder, probably like 40 or 50-yarder downfield, set up the game-winning field goal at the end. He's just been getting more and more snaps, especially since Ridley is out the last couple of weeks. But they gave Mike Davis the lion's share early on, and then Patterson just took over that job. He's taken over some of the wide receiving work as well. And then last but not least is Devonte Adams, who's only 18 fantasy points. He's back. The best news that he has is Aaron Rodgers is back as well. Good spot for anybody really against the Seattle pass defense. They are prone to some big plays, and Adams and Rodgers, they are two of the best connections you can ask for fantasy football. 18. I think Adams will probably get over 20 this week easily. So if you plug in these 4, you have a chance to 5 extra buy-in. Or if you think that you can maybe get 3 out of 4 right, you can do the other plays where you'll get a little bit less money, but even if you miss a prop, you'll be fine. So if you want to try them out, you can use my promo code process. Hopefully they go well for you. Now let's get into the core picks. The quarterback position, Kyler Murray is still questionable. See if he plays or not. Same thing kind of is the case for Hopkins. So he's the most expensive quarterback on the slate. Dealing with an ankle injury for a running quarterback is not the best type of deal. So I'll pass on his price. I'm looking to go a bit cheaper here. I think Tom Brady makes a lot of sense. Go Tom Brady, pair him with Godwin, pair him with Evans. Basically, you're going to get like 100 fantasy points GPP upside in that situation. Most likely, they're going to top like 60 to 80. Jalen Hurts is 65 against Denver. Probably a pass for me. Tough matchup. Defensively on the road, Denver's defense up and down all year. But they've been running the football so much. Like Hurts, 17 and 14 attempts. Early on, Nick Sirianni was not running the football at all. This is why we saw Hurts throw 39, 48, 37 times. But recently, the Eagles' defense can't stop any quarterback, so they've been just running the football to eat the time of possession and to just slow down the pace of the game. So I will probably pass on that price tag. I like going down here in the low 6K range where you have Matt Ryan at 6K. He's been one of the best fantasy quarterbacks over the past 5 or 6 weeks. He has only dropped under 10 points one time during that stretch, which was against Carolina, but he has a 22, a 24, a 29, a 31 last week against the Saints on the road. Tough matchup. Goes up against the Dallas Cowboys here. It's once again on the road, but it's in the dome, so that bodes well for Matt Ryan. He's always been better in dome situations. We saw that against the Saints last week. And I feel great about 6,000 for him. I don't think he'll be popular at all, especially because at running back, I want to pair him with Patterson, who's 66. But Patterson's just been getting so many snaps on the field. They weren't able to run the football against that Saints front, which is not surprising. But Patterson got you 9 carries. He also got 6 targets. You're probably going to get 15 to close to 20 touches out of Patterson every week going forward now that the Falcons are making a bit of a playoff push. The Saints not having their quarterback, not having Kamara. They might be able to gain another one on them if they upset the Cowboys this week. Patterson gives you upside. He's a solid floor for PPR now that he's just been getting so many targets and been getting a lot of work over the past few weeks. And Ridley still out just makes him look even better. Other running back plays at the top end, I'd probably look to Jonathan Taylor against Jacksonville. Eckler looks good as well against the Vikings. That game should be pretty high scoring. You can go Najee Harris as well. Those guys are probably ahead of Dalvin Cook for me, and also probably ahead of McCaffrey for me as well. Elliott at 7,000. He's playable, but you do have a lot of cheaper running backs this week, like Patterson. You have James Conner without Chase Edmonds this week. Tough spot against Carolina. They've been pretty good defensively, especially if maybe Colt McCoy can move the football like he did last week, but we'll see. Robinson is questionable. Not the easiest spot. That Colts defense has been playing a lot better, and maybe he's a little bit limited from the injury. We'll see. But we got the Patriots running back is out, so you're gonna be able to go to like Taylor and go to that rookie. It's a really long last name. From the Patriots side, you can take a look at their running back situation. So Stevenson or Taylor, you can go to them. Bolden might get some work as well. But they still probably will have like 2 or 3 guys there. I'll probably look to Deonte Johnson is basically almost a lock on this one, going up against the Patriots. It's not the easiest spot, but he's just going to get a lot of work on the ground. They don't have Chubb and they don't have Hunt. And the week that he did get opportunity, he made the most of it against Denver with 28 fantasy points. So I don't want to fade him this week against the Patriots. So those two locked in at my running back spot. I also look to like Mark Ingram, who is $4,500 as another cheap running back. And then mid-range, basically like James Conner. Swift, because Williams is out again, and then Leonard Fournette at only 61. Looks pretty good there. Wide receiver, it's basically a couple of wide receivers that just stick out above the rest. First guy has to be Davonte Adams. I will not be playing I will not be playing AJ Brown, Jefferson, McLaurin, even Diggs over a guy like Adams when they're like separated by less than $500. Just makes no sense to me. At least in cash games, tournaments, you can do whatever you want, but Adams still gives you the highest tournament upside out of any of these guys on basically every single week. Godwin, they're going to test him out, but there's a chance he does play if he's doesn't have any sort of setback or wake up feeling worse tomorrow. Evans looks like a great play at $6,900. But I will go with Adams, and I'll go with Deonte Johnson. Good spot against Detroit, not having the second and third wide receivers in this game. So Johnson should get peppered with targets. He looks great. Adam Thielen looks pretty appealing at 67. And then you have Michael Pittman, who's been doing getting a lot more targets. He's at 63. You have Amari Cooper potentially as a bounce back spot. He was super popular last week, so probably won't be super popular this week. And then at the bottom 5K range, Chris Kirk, if there's no Hopkins, looks good. You can go to Emmanuel Sanders against the Jets. And then in the 4K range, you have T.Y. Hilton is back, so gives you some upside there. Deep play kind of guy. Miters, always a good kind of a solid floor type of guy there. And you couldn't look to like James Washington. He's going to be out there on the field in all 2 wide receiver sets. He's only 35, so he looks pretty appealing. But I will go ahead and plug in Mike Evans. I got to get to at least one of these 2 Tampa Bay guys against Washington. We've seen Brady just destroy almost every single week against bad defenses. Even against good defenses, he's been crushing. Evans should gets a much better spot than he did last week going up against Lattimore, where he still was productive because of that 1 touchdown grab that he had, 41-yarder. But Evans looks great against Washington. So that's basically the core plays. It leaves you with 37 left. You go with a bit of a cheaper tight end here. Pitts looks great at the top end. You have Goddard and Goddard, the 2 top end guys that I'm looking at. For the value plays, you have Pat Freiermuth, $3,900, going to get more targets without Chase Claypool. Dan Arnold in the mix at 35. Ricky Seals-Jones with Thomas still on IR. And Jared Cook would be the last guy I kind of look to at the bottom at $3,200. And then defenses, kind of like the Titans defense, are very cheap. 26 going up against the Saints. Without Alvin Kamara, they're still going to be, they're without Jameis for the rest of the year. So backup quarterback, backup running back in Ingram, who I do like for fantasy. I think he's only 45, so you can plug him in here as well. But I still don't mind playing the Titans defense. They've been on fire over the past 4 or 5 weeks. Ever since week 4, they've been really stepping up, and they shut down the KC offense. They shut down the Rams. They shut down the Colts. I don't think it's a lot to ask for them to shut down the Saints here at home. So that Titans defense, I have a lot of interest there. If you're looking to spend up a bit, you can go to the maybe you can go to the Broncos against the Eagles defense at 32. If you want to break the bank, go play the Bills against the Jets. Or you can play the Steelers against the Lions. But I probably like the Bills more. Or go with the Cardinals without Darnold. So that's it for the DraftKings core plays. FanDuel is the same, but I'll just plug in the players. So actually, we might do with a different quarterback on FanDuel, but let's go over there. All right, so FanDuel-wise, the core is pretty much the same type of deal. Freiermuth is just very cheap at only 51 at tight end, so I have him locked in there when you have Kyle Pitts at 69, a bunch of guys above 6K, a bunch of guys above 5K. When he's barely above 5,000 against Detroit, I got to go with him. Deonte Johnson, I still like him, just going to get a ton of targets. Hopefully the weather kind of holds up in this one. Patterson, 78, still fine because I'm going to be going to Matt Ryan at quarterback. D'Ernest, so basically a lock on both sides, and then I still want to pay up for Devonte Adams. 87, he's a little bit more of a gap, but he's at home. He has Aaron Rodgers back. Rodgers probably wants to kind of make up for last week not playing. So that is the core on FanDuel. Some other plays you can look at. A quarterback, if you want to spend up, do it for Tom Brady. Do it for Josh Allen in the 7K range. You have Aaron Rodgers if you want to pair him with Devonte Adams. And that's basically it. I don't think I'll go anybody else. I like Ryan at that price tag. But 81 for Dak. I'd probably just go to Matt Ryan, save 800. Running backs, Najee is kind of tough to get to. He's 94. I'd probably look to Eckler, save some money, go down to Elliott at 8,000. Definitely go down to Patterson. Or if you want to pay up, maybe McCaffrey looks the best at 9K when he's cheaper than Najee and Jonathan Taylor. At wide receiver, Adams still my favorite spend up. I like Chris Godwin, 78. I like Evans and Godwin, Deonte, Adams. Those are my 4 favorite wide receivers to target in terms of just overall spend up. I don't need to go that cheap at wide receiver this week. I'm not looking at anybody that's super cheap at wide receiver. Just because we have the cheap running backs. You have Dearness Johnson. You have Mark Ingram. You have still pretty affordable Patterson. So I don't have to break the bank. And then defense-wise, it's basically the same deal. The Bills, the Titans, my favorite defenses to target. You can kind of go with maybe the Broncos against the Eagles here, or go with the Eagles against the Broncos. That game should be probably low scoring. And that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tomorrow, and I'll see you all next time.